I begin tucking him into bed and he tells me, "Daddy, check for monsters under my bed." I look underneath for his amusement and see him, another him, under the bed, staring back at me, quivering and whispering, "Daddy, there's somebody on my bed." I can't move, breathe, speak, or hear, and it's so dark all the time. If I knew it would be this lonely, I would have been cremated instead. Don't be scared of monsters. Just look for them. Look to your left, to your right, under your bed, behind your dresser, in your closet, but never look up. She hates being seen. I woke up to hear knocking on the glass. At first, I thought it was the window, until I heard it come from the mirror again. They celebrated the first successful cryogenic freezing. He had no way of letting them know he was still conscious. The grinning face stared at me from the darkness beyond my bedroom window. I live on the 14th floor. She wondered why she was casting two shadows. After all, there was only a single light bulb. There was a picture on my phone of me sleeping. I live alone. Working the night shift alone tonight, there's a face in the cellar staring up at the security camera. They delivered the mannequins in bubble wrap from the main room, and I begin to hear popping. You get home, tired after a long day's work, and ready for a relaxing night alone. You reach for the light switch, but another hand is already there. My daughter won't stop crying and screaming in the middle of the night. I visit her grave and ask her to stop, but it doesn't help. You start to drift off into a comfortable sleep when you hear your name being whispered. You live alone. You're laying in bed and with your feet dangling out of the covers. You feel a hand grab your feet. The funeral attendees never came out of the catacombs. Something locked the door from the inside. My wife woke me up last night to tell me there was an intruder in our house. She was murdered by an intruder 3 years ago. The officer finally got back to me. He said the call was coming from inside the house. I was having a pleasant dream when what sounded like hammering woke me. After that, I could barely hear the muffled sound of dirt covering the coffin over my own screams. The last man on earth sat alone in a room, and there was a knock at the door. After working a hard day, I came home to see my girlfriend cradling our child. I didn't know which was more frightening, seeing my dead girlfriend and stillborn child, or knowing that someone broke into my apartment to place them there. You hear your mom calling you into the kitchen as you are heading down the stairs. You hear a whisper from the closet, saying, "Don't go down there, honey. I heard it too." Nurse's note. Born 7 pounds 10 ounces, 18 inches long, 32 fully formed teeth. Silent, always smiling. The longer I wore it, the more it grew on me. She had such pretty skin. I went upstairs to check on her sleeping toddler. The window was open and the bed was empty. I looked out my window, only to see the creature looking back at me. I always thought my cat had a staring problem. She always seemed fixated on my face, until one day I realized that she was always looking just behind me. "I can't sleep," she whispered, crawling into bed with me. I woke up cold, clutching the dress she was buried in. I just saw my reflection blink. I kiss my wife and daughter goodnight before I go to sleep. When I wake up, I'm in a padded room and the nurses tell me it was just a dream. I peeked outside. The pizza delivery guy is at the door, but I didn't order a pizza, and definitely not from someone wearing a pig mask. I used a Ouija board yesterday, but I only asked one question and put it away. I got my answer today, written in blood all over my ceiling. My wife woke me up by kissing my cheek when she got home late. This morning I checked my phone. She stayed with a friend last night. I like to sing in the shower sometimes. When I got out of the last one, the fogged up mirror read, "You have a lovely voice. I live alone." The upstairs neighbors are awfully noisy. I told my landlord and he said it's been vacant for months. For sale, like new engagement ring, barely worn, came right off her finger. Finger also for sale, but for the right offer only. I had a dream that a man was watching me sleep from outside my bedroom window. When I woke up, I found footprints inside next to my bed. I found a new bottle of my friend's favorite scotch on the kitchen counter today. He died in a drunk driving accident 6 years ago. It's nice that my grandmother calls to check on me, but if she wants to communicate from the other side, I wish she wouldn't scream so much. I have a recurring dream where I'm murdered by a girl I never met. I thought it was stupid until I went on a blind date and saw her at the table. My mom told me she had the best time playing with my little sister today. My little sister went missing in 2002. They found her body in 2006. I arrived at the funeral a few minutes late. Nobody acknowledged me, and I figured out why when I looked into the casket and saw myself. My cat is asleep beside my computer in his favorite spot. I've buried him 10 times now. I've been scrubbing my hands non-stop for weeks. The blood just won't come off. I look over at my clock to see that it's 3:15 in the morning. Right then, a rotting corpse pushes fingers into my stomach. I scream in relief as it's only a dream. Looking over at my clock, it's 3:14 a.m., and then my closet door creaks open. I hear my daughter cry, "Mommy, I'm so cold, please let me in." I shut the curtains, knowing she won't cry much longer out in the snow. Every morning my wife tells me how much she loves me. I really wish she'd stop. I murdered her last year, but she still won't leave me alone. After dating all through high school and college, our daughter's boyfriend finally came over today to ask me and my husband for her hand. We gave it to him, hoping that he'll finally tell us where the rest of her is. I used to be considered the evil twin, but now I'm considered an only child. I didn't mind it when the rain began to fall, until it hit my skin and it started to burn. I never meant to make my ex cry. I only meant to make her bleed.